Thank you very much, and thanks to each one of you all who've been waiting for all the while. It did take considerable time, but I'm very grateful to all the chief ministers, the deputy chief ministers, the lieutenant governor, and also the finance ministers. Some finance ministers were also represented by other ministers holding different portfolios, but I'm grateful to all the states who participated and gave their views. There is a very detailed press release which is being put out. I think nearly 19 states' chief ministers had participated. No, sorry, 15 chief ministers participated, 15, not 19. Lieutenant Governor of Jammu and Kashmir, Deputy Chief Minister of 3 states, and ministers, finance ministers of the rest of them. I've listed it out in the press release, so you'll get the names. The context of the meeting was that after the second wave, we are seeing a robust growth. However, it's also a time where we are looking at ways in which we need to sustain the growth, take it as close as possible to a double-digit growth, and for which both the center and the states will have to work together. So this meeting was essentially to seek states and their ideas on how they want this to be taken further, because in most of the issues related to investment, development, and also for manufacturing and taking business activities, it is the states who are doing it from the forefront. The support from the center is always there, but we also wanted to make sure that states and their understanding of how they would want to go forward should be heard, and that is the reason this meeting was called. And therefore, I must put it up front that we've had very, very key ideas coming from states. There were also generic requests which were posed. I'm not going through each of the ideas. We've listed it out for you, bullet points of each of the suggestions which have come. Like one of the examples that I like to take is also the way in which some of the states have given approvals and for projects. They were looking for better dispute resolution mechanisms, post the award of contracts, enhancing road connectivity. Some of the Northeast states came up with specific suggestions of immediate job creation for their states, and state-specific international trade policies for the Northeast. So I've listed it out. The need for a policy for offshore wind energy generation was highlighted by some states. So it is a very useful session where clearly the way in which we want to move forward is to ensure that the understanding that states have about their way of wanting to move forward post a pandemic, with the people of India showing greater aspiration to want to come out of the pandemic and clearly push towards better and speedier growth. It was just a timely meeting which we've had with the states, and the detailed notes have been taken of the oral speaking in content of the ministers, but of course we've requested each one of them to send their written note as well. One of the things which I'll make my opening intervention very brief. One of the things which states have been talking about is the way in which this year we have front-loaded many of the dues which have to go to the states. That has been recognized. And also there was at least a few of them kept saying that the capital expenditure money that was given to them, almost like a grant, but for the 50 years, which they can use interest-free, and for them to return 50 years later, has been well received. Many of the states very openly said that they would want the scheme to be continued because the emphasis is on capital expenditure. Unless states and center put the money for infrastructure building, the ripple effects for promoting better and speedier growth will be not as desirable as we wish to have it. And therefore, that expenditure is absolutely necessary, and many of them have been stating that. You are aware that the GST compensation which was agreed upon for this entire year has already been given, even by early November. Similarly, today some of the CMs requested that for increasing the state's capital expenditure, it would really be helpful for them to get a part of the tax devolution for the current financial year also. In a sense, if it can be front-loaded, it will be helpful. There and then, of course, I have directed the Finance Secretary, who's also taking care of the expenditure, to do this immediately, so that this being a very exceptional year, states will not be short of money in their hands when we all of us are pushing forward with the infrastructure expenditure to be taken up by them. So I have suggested to the Finance Secretary that in this month, to be specific, on 22nd November, normally devolution money goes on the 20th. 20th and 21st, I understand, is a weekend, and therefore on the 22nd, instead of the normal monthly installment of devolution amount, which is a total of 47,541 crores, I've asked Finance Secretary to release another 47,541 crore, so a total of 95,082 crores will be given to the states on November 22nd, which means other than the amount due in November of devolution, one more installment will be given together on 22nd November. So with that, the desire of the states to have some more money in their hands so that they can easily consider spending it for infrastructure creation would help. Just in case you want any numbers about how much will be given to each of the states during this period, we can share the table with you, and you will get to know about the amounts. So thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. We will now take some questions. 1 to 5. Shishir.
Good evening, ma'am. Shishir here from Hindu Business Line. My question is that did the states ask for relaxation in FRBM so that since they are pushing for more expenditure, so are they also looking for, and what is your stand on that?
Some of the states did ask for relaxation, for further relaxation of FRBM, because I think in one of our press releases we have already said, and even today we have mentioned it in the press release, that several states had fulfilled the increased FR borrowing which was given to them, about a percentage without any condition and 1% with conditions. And many states have fulfilled the conditions, and therefore every now and then we get to know where they are, and we do the necessary arrangements for it. Over and above that, at least 2 states wanted specifically an increase because they felt that their situation being what it is, they would want to have that flexibility given to them unconditionally. If I can recall, one was Madhya Pradesh, the other one was Sikkim.
Number 11.
Ma'am, I just wanted to understand the devolution, this Siddharth. Ma'am, just wanted to understand the devolution part. How much would have been transferred so far, and what is the modalities that have been worked out now? And also, just another this thing. Are there? So, ma'am, was higher capex, higher infra spend one of the key issues for the today's deliberations?
Second point, I'll ask Finance Secretary to give you the details of the devolution. Today's meeting was more to understand the state's understanding of where they are, what is the kind of perspective they have. All of them do appreciate that spending on infrastructure is absolutely well taken, and that is why you saw me telling you earlier that some states preferred that 50-year interest-free loan so that they can take upon themselves some of the projects, and therefore that money comes off handy. So today's meeting was to, understand from the states what their perspective is, two, where do they have their requirements in terms of infrastructure spending, how far have they achieved what was announced earlier, and what is it that they expect to do in the forthcoming months, with a larger interest of growing well, and looking at a good, number of GDP growth. So that was the broader agenda of the meeting. On the devolution, of course,
the states are entitled to a particular percentage of central taxes. The aggregate is 41, and it's divided among the states as decided by the Finance Commission. Typically, the share of central taxes is devolved in 14 installments in a financial year. The use of a stable installment is actually very beneficial to the states in most situations because it gives predictability for them for their cash flow. And it is the normal practice over many decades that the adjustment between the budget estimate and the revised estimate is done in the month of March, when it may either go up or it may go down. So the last 3 installments in March, the adjustment is made, but the first few installments are given on the same basis. This year, as per Honorable Finance Minister's directions, what she just mentioned, in the month of November, instead of devolving 1 installment out of the 14, which is what we would normally devolve, and 1 installment currently, based on the budget estimate, is 47,541 crores. Instead, we are going to give 2 installments in the month of November. So these 2 installments together amount to 95,082 crores. So it gives the devolution several months in advance of when it would normally be given. And of course, the adjustment between RE and BE will happen in the month of March, but this is an advance release which is being made.
If you just want to understand the extent, you may name any state you want instead of me picking up. Without this new instruction, let us say Arunachal Pradesh would have had 835 crores being given to them on November 20th. This month is November 22nd. Now they will get 835 plus another 835. So if you go on like that, Andhra Pradesh gets 1923.98 crores. They will now get another 1923.98. So like that, everyone gets this installment plus 1 more installment. That would have otherwise come only in March. We are upfront loading it even now. Any other state that you would want to know? Kerala, for instance, 915.16 crore. They would get another 915.16 crore. Madhya Pradesh, 3731.96 crores is what they would have got on November 20th. Now this month, November 22nd. They will get another 3731.96 this month itself, instead of waiting till March. And December will get its December 20th share, January, February, and so on. That's what is being provided as an upfront facility. It's their money, but they would have got it in March. We're giving it now. The 3 installments of March, one of them is coming now. Better cash flow?
The contrary to popular impression, I mean, it is, yes, that is, of course, makes it easier to do, but contrary to popular impressions, most of the states are not in negative cash flow. In fact, state cash balances are very high at the moment, with very few exceptions. So as of October 30th, for instance, 2.66 lakh crores of positive cash balance among the states. And out of 29 states plus the Union Territory of J&K, as on October 30th, only 4 had a negative cash balance. The rest collectively had a positive cash balance of 2.66 lakh crores. So it is not as if most of the states are in cash trouble, but this would enable them to front load some of their capital expenditure. They made a request and therefore this has been passed on. The figures which I just now gave you are October 30th. That is the balance. The 4 states are, I think, Manipur. I'm sorry, I don't have the, I think it's Manipur, Andhra Pradesh, and 2 more, which I don't remember the last 2. Sikkim probably, but I'm not sure, ma'am. I don't know. No.
Number 5.
You can check with whoever told you.
Good evening, ma'am. Since the budget is also approaching, I'd like to know if states had any kind of special request that the center should consider in terms of allocation. And pardon me for my second question, but I'd really like to ask if there were any discussions or points of concern shared on cryptocurrency with state FinMins or CMs today.
Not one state spoke about cryptocurrency. Not one state spoke about cryptocurrency today. In general, there were a lot of observations, no particular thing about in the budget, this much allocation for that particular thing. None of that. There were a lot of discussion in general about so many things each state felt they wanted to say.
Number 53.
मैम, जो आज आपने बोला 15 स्टेट्स थे इस मीटिंग में, इसमें से कितने स्टेट्स अपोजिशन के थे? और
क्या आपके पहले लाइन रिपीट करिए।
आपने बोला कि आज की मीटिंग में 15 स्टेट्स के चीफ मिनिस्टर्स थे।
हाँ जी। तो
इसमें से कितने चीफ मिनिस्टर जो है अपोजिशन रूल्ड स्टेट्स के थे और कितने ऐसे मुद्दे उठे जो इस मीटिंग के बाद उसको कितने टाइम में हल हो जाएंगे? कितने ऐसे मुद्दे उठे जो इश्यूज उठे होंगे वो कब तक सॉल्व हो जाएंगे? और अगली मीटिंग कब होगी मैम?
ये बहुत ही रेयर है सिचुएशन, इसीलिए इस मीटिंग इस बार हुआ है, इससे पहले कभी नहीं हुआ और इसका ऐसे टाइमलाइन भी नहीं है। हम इस संदर्भ में क्योंकि रिवाइवल हो रही है स्टिमुलस देने के कारण और हर स्टेट का उनके अपने अपने मन में सोच विचार है स्टिमुलस को कैसे सस्टेन करें, उसके ऊपर चर्चा करने के लिए ये मीटिंग रेयर वन ऑफ मीटिंग है। ये नहीं है कि बार बार ऐसे मीटिंग होगा, शायद आवश्यकता भी इतना नहीं हो सकता है। चीफ मिनिस्टर्स कितने, मतलब 15 में से कितने ऑपोजिशन के, मैं बात बोल रही हूँ आपको, मैं पूरे लिस्ट पढ़ लेती हूँ, आप सोच लीजिए आपको मालूम होगा। असम चीफ मिनिस्टर, छत्तीसगढ़ चीफ मिनिस्टर, गोवा, हरियाणा, हिमाचल प्रदेश, कर्नाटका, मध्य प्रदेश, मणिपुर, मेघालय, मिजोरम, नागालैंड, पुदुचेरी, सिक्किम, त्रिपुरा एंड उत्तर प्रदेश चीफ मिनिस्टर्स। राजस्थान, क्योंकि आप स्पेसिफिकली नाम लिए या विपक्ष वाले स्टेट्स के नाम लिए, उसमें राजस्थान के वित्त मंत्री जी आए थे और दिल्ली के डिप्टी सीएम आए थे जो वित्त मंत्री भी हैं। फिर आंध्र प्रदेश, गुजरात, केरला, ओडिशा, पंजाब, राजस्थान, तमिलनाडु, तेलंगाना, उत्तराखंड और वेस्ट बंगाल के अपने अपने वित्त मंत्री लोग जी पार्टिसिपेट किए। नहीं, मुद्दा उठाया, मगर अच्छा हुआ आपने उस विषय को जिक्र कर रहे हैं। इसमें मैं आपके द्वारा भी एक गलत फहमी को दूर करना चाह रही हूँ। Somanathan, do you want to explain it?
No, a question was, I mean, there seems to be some doubt about the reduction of 10 rupees and 5 rupees. I just want to make it clear. The entire reduction of 5 rupees and 10 rupees has been in the non-shareable portion of excise, which means that the entire reduction is borne by the central government, and no part of this excise duty is part of the 41% which is shared with the states. So the entire reduction of 10 rupees and of 5 rupees is a revenue loss to the central government, and there is no loss of devolution to any state government through the reduction of 10 rupees and 5 rupees, which was done recently.
Number 9.
Ma'am, I have a supplement question on this thing. Following the excise duty cut early this month, some 25 states have cut their VATs, but there are 10 states, mostly opposition states, they have not cut. So now the blame game, the politics over the petrol and diesel prices have shifted to state level. For example, Punjab has not cut. Punjab has cut because there is an election. But other Congress-ruled states like Chhattisgarh and Rajasthan, they have not cut. In Maharashtra and in Jharkhand, they have not cut. Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary has written a letter to West Bengal Chief Minister appealing that she should consider this thing. During the UPA tenure, there was an option before GST that in such cases where states do not pass or there is no commensurate cut, there was a category of special goods, and LPG was brought into that. So uniform 4% VAT was there. That option is not there after GST. So will you consider something, or will you appeal to them? Because they, people of these 10 states, they are at the mercy of their state governments, and there is no cut.
Appeal that states also come along to do something has been already made. But if some states don't want to do it, it's for their citizens who voted for that government to ask. We can only appeal, and have appealed long back.
One more way to bring it under GST.
GST, already petroleum products are in the GST. The necessary amendment has already been made. However, unless the GST Council agrees on the rate, what is the rate? 5%, 10%, 12%, 18%, 28%? कुछ तो तय करने के बाद ही GST का इम्प्लीमेंटेशन लागू होगा। सिर्फ कानून में पेट्रोल को ले आए, मगर बिना रेट कैसे इम्प्लीमेंट करेंगे? इसीलिए GST में ऑलरेडी है पेट्रोलियम प्रोडक्ट्स। जब तक GST काउंसिल उसका रेट तय नहीं करता, तब तक वो लागू नहीं हो पाएगा।
मैं लक्ष्मण CNBC आवाज़ से। कई सारी सरकारी कंपनियां हैं जिसमें सेंटर के साथ साथ स्टेट का भी स्टेक यहाँ पे है, और कई सारी कंपनियों के एसेट भी स्टेट के पास हैं। चूँकि हम केंद्र सरकार की तरफ से एसेट मोनेटाइजेशन और स्ट्रेटेजिक डाइवेस्टमेंट पर जोर है, तो क्या इस मुद्दे पर राज्यों से अपील की गई या फिर कोई चर्चा हुई कि राज्य अपनी तरफ से भी कोऑपरेशन बढ़ाएं?
हाँ, एक आध स्टेट्स ने ये भी कहा कि अगर पब्लिक सेक्टर अंडरटेकिंग्स है उनके यहाँ और उनके पास सरप्लस ज़मीन है, उसको स्टेट्स को दी जाए, जिससे स्टेट्स उसमें भी खर्च करके कुछ प्रोजेक्ट्स कर सकते हैं या कुछ इंडस्ट्री पार्क लगा सकते हैं ऐसे। सो उसके ऊपर भी विचार करने के लिए उनसे सुझाव आया है।
70.
और हमने भी ये याद दिलाए कि मोनेटाइजेशन पाइपलाइन तो अभी सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट का प्रोजेक्ट्स के ऊपर मोनेटाइजेशन का पाइपलाइन लिस्ट अनाउंस किया गया। अगर हमने शायद सेकेंड वेव के बाद स्टेट्स को ये भी इंसेंटिवाइज किए कि आप कुछ आगे आकर के डिसइन्वेस्टमेंट करोगे तो हम स्टेट्स सेंटर के तरफ भी आपको इंसेंटिव करने के लिए एक इतना करने में 20-30%, इतना करने में 50%, इतना करने में 100% इक्वल शेयर हम देंगे, ऐसे अनाउंसमेंट भी किए हैं, उसको भी याद दिलाए।
Ma'am, Shubham from Informis Media. Ma'am, is it possible to get a sense on what is the aggregate capex target for states in FY22 and how much of that target has been met till date?
I thought there was a news item sometime today or yesterday.
I do not have the figures of the aggregate with me. It has been communicated to each state. Broadly, it is based on the following methodology, that there is a base level of capital expenditure in 2018-19. There is an estimated growth to 2019-20. And then there is an assumption that 75% of the additional borrowing that is tied to capex, the 0.5, must be spent on incremental capital expenditure. So that is how the target is calculated. There is a base, then there is an extra borrowing. So to earn that extra borrowing, 75% of that extra borrowing has to be spent on capital expenditure. So this is a state-specific target. We have given you the figures of those states which have achieved it. I don't have with me the figures for the states who have not. But many states have achieved it, and in today's meeting, several indicated that they would also be meeting those targets. And today's additional installment of release of cash is also to help them to push the cash into capital expenditure faster than if it were released in its normal course. Most of them appear, I mean, the sense I got from the meeting is most of them are likely to meet their capital expenditure
I just
targets.
want to give you this. States were requested to take the capex, and 11 states, Andhra Pradesh, Bihar, Chhattisgarh, Haryana, Kerala, Madhya Pradesh, Manipur, Meghalaya, Nagaland, Rajasthan and Uttarakhand have achieved the target set by Ministry of Finance for capital expenditure in the first quarter. So then the additional borrowing permission was given to them. So I've given you first quarter. Of course, it's progressing in a similar fashion. So states are definitely moving firmly on capital expenditure, and also thereby are in a position to borrow more.
81.
Ma'am, Amrish from Z Business. प्रोजेक्ट डिस्प्यूट्स को लेकर एक मैकेनिज्म डिस्कस हुआ है, तो वो किस तरह के डिस्प्यूट्स हैं और क्या मैकेनिज्म होगा, एक सवाल. दूसरा, इंश्योरेंस पर जीएसटी कम करने को लेकर बहुत दिनों से डिमांड थी, तो क्या इस पर कुछ स्टेट्स से बातचीत हो रही है?
किसके ऊपर?
इंश्योरेंस.
इंश्योरेंस नहीं, पहला ये डिस्प्यूट रेजोल्यूशन मैकेनिज्म को स्ट्रेंथन करने का एक सुझाव आया है. फिर ये मॉडल कंसेशन एग्रीमेंट्स, उसके ऊपर भी जो कि इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर के विषय में उपयोग में आता है, पर्टिकुलरली पीपीपी इकोसिस्टम में कैसे उपयोग करना है, उसका मॉडल कानून है. इस संदर्भ में ये डिस्प्यूट रेजोल्यूशन को स्ट्रेंथन करने का एक सुझाव आया. नहीं, इंश्योरेंस के ऊपर नथिंग इन पर्टिकुलर.
Just one more statistic, ma'am, if I may share. You had asked on capital expenditure. I do have some figure which says that between April and September of this financial year, the capital expenditure of 20 states for which the data is available has shown an increase of 79% on the previous year. Of course, that was a bad year. So it's a 79% increase. And it's 23% higher than in 1920, which was the pre-pandemic year. So it's 79% higher than the pandemic year and 23% higher than the non-pandemic year. So that is an indication of the aggregate level of growth in capital expenditure, which has been achieved through all these mechanisms.
Thank you, ma'am. With your permission, we'll close the press conference now. Thank you very much, friends.